Welcome to the Epic Fail Podcast, episode number 110. Before we get started tonight, I just want to give a quick shout out to our Patreon supporters. That's right, Joseph, Mickey, Flashgoth, Cuddles, thank you for helping us continue to fail.
Warning, this show may contain mature language and is not suitable for small children, pets, or blood elves.
You're now listening to the Epic Fail Podcast.
Greetings! Welcome to, as Theory mentioned earlier, episode 110 of the Epic Fail Podcast. I am Draven Dresden! And for whatever reason, my throat is still going crazy, so my voice is probably weird. As normal.
I am Draven Dresden!
Yes, I am! I don't know why I'm talking like this, but let's go with it!
It's like reverse puberty.
Sure,
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Something, I don't know.
I'm Benjamin Button, oh god.
That was a horrible movie.
It wasn't bad.
Horrible.
You're allowed to have your opinion, I'm allowed mine. Anyway, as you can see, all the co-hosts are here tonight. Yay! Before we get going, quick note. Last night we were supposed to go, so we're a day late. It was just a IRL thing. People weren't feeling good, that kind of thing. So, tonight, and without further ado, you heard her already. She doesn't like Benjamin Button because she doesn't like Brad Pitt. I don't know. Scarlett, how was your week in gaming?
I don't like Brad Pitt. He's like
All of the American women
horrible.
just decided they don't like you anymore.
That's okay.
Or that they do like her because now she's no
Okay.
longer competition.
I like his
maybe.
earlier stuff, like 12 Monkeys and whatever that one is, where he's like this crazy hobo person,
Michael?
and they go killing him and his girl, and they go killing people, or he goes killing people. He's crazy. He's like this possessive boyfriend dude. It's a really good movie.
I have no
Anyways.
idea what movie that is.
It's really old. It's gonna bug me till I remember the name of it. Somebody should look that up for me. It's very famous. Anyways, whatever. One of these days. So, while you guys were rating before the podcast, I went and got concordance on my Frostback, so I now have another pet.
Congrats.
And Tricky, it's not weird. Somebody just needs to go find the movie. Do we have an IMDb link? Okay, I'm going to figure this out. It's like from the 80s or 90s.
Well, why don't you figure it out once you're done?
Because
And then
it's going to bug me until I figure this out.
Okay.
Okay, well, in that case, we're just going to come back to you in a minute. Because that's about how long it'll take. Theory, how have you been this week?
So up until last night, I was having a pretty good week. Last night, the IRL stuff Draven's talking about, it was me. I got sick, didn't feel good at all last night, and then like last minute right before the show was about to go up, I just couldn't do it. So my fault. Luckily, I'm feeling a lot better tonight. Almost back to normal, which is nice. Did miss work today, unfortunately, because I shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, it was all last night and most of this morning. I was just not feeling well. But as far as gaming stuff goes, man, it's been a pretty good week. I am thinking of pulling a switcheroo again, which, the one thing about my WoW career, I've changed characters way too much, which is part of the reason why I have so many that are level capped now. However, if you happen to be a prop pally and you're doing heroic tomb, you may notice that whenever your SOTR is not up, that you pretty much get one shot. Hopefully they'll fix that before next week. But it is so frustrating to me at this point. I've been looking for a different tank to possibly switch to, and I've been working on a monk, which at significantly lower gear levels is got what I believe to be higher survivability against one-shots. So I may end up pulling that switch. We'll see if that happens or not for CTM. But I am having a lot of fun on that tune, so it gave me a lot to do in game, which definitely helped today since I couldn't really do anything else. Yeah, man, it's been good. I also played a little bit of Rocket League as well this week, and didn't quite get to Overwatch, but supposedly I've got a loot chest with some legendaries in it or something that I haven't opened yet, so we might talk about that later. I don't know. But how about you, Draven? How was your week in gaming?
My week has been pretty much almost completely dominated by Warcraft. Between Concordance on my Paladin, every spec. That was not fun. Concordance on my Fire Mage. Not right now. I'm working on the Frost spec to get Concordance. I don't need to do it, but this way, if I ever do decide to raid on it, I can at least be somewhat viable-ish. Because I know apparently Frost is just the higher spec at the moment. I got the DK mount. That was fun. That was weird. That was actually really good. I went the same way Scarlet did, and I killed every dragon I saw.
But that's removed.
No, the feat of strength is removed. You can still do it.
Oh wait, you just wanted to hear the dead inside message, didn't you?
Yeah, I just wanted to kill the dragons. It seemed like a Death Knight thing to do.
Mean.
Yeah. After we're done with the show, I'll be logging back in to get the Mage one and the Shaman one, and from what I hear, the Shaman artifact appearance for Doomhammer, the world boss is up. So I'll be going and doing that too. So I'll have all kinds of new stuff after tonight. Heroes has been mostly just clearing out the quests and keeping up on information. I still not touching Hero League. It's still way too volatile in terms of what people are picking, that kind of thing, and it's just not worth going in just yet for solo play. If I got a team together and they were similar quality of how good I am versus how good they are, I would gladly go in and do that. Overwatch has been arcade. When I've been able to actually get a game, I've been getting 5-10 minute queues for arcade, and I don't understand that.
Are you permanently queued?
I think I am. And that's just
Reoccurring theme.
Yeah, it's just nonstop. I'm queued everywhere I go. I was gifted, since someone, it's not Blizzard related, I know, but I was gifted the 2 downloads for Witcher 3, which, since they're both on sale for $15 total. So I was like, oh, cool, thanks. So that'll be another 40, 50 hours whenever I find time outside of Blizzard stuff. On top of my 123 hours already in it from last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
That
my
looks
week's.
like a fun game.
It is a great game. Don't start it unless you plan on spending 100 hours in it, though. And that's for the base game. Well, you could probably do it in less than that. I was literally going to 100% it until I got to that last area, but that's another story. Scarlett, have you figured out the movie yet?
California, you guys should watch it. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's good like 12 Monkeys.
I really like 12 Monkeys. I've never seen California with a K.
Never heard of it. 12 Monkeys was actually really good. I hear the TV show of it is also good, but that's also not Blizzard related. I haven't seen it yet either, so it doesn't matter.
So
but we actually have some news. Okay, so go ahead, Scarlett.
Oh, well, no, I was going to ask because I forgot to say, did you guys play the Brawl with Low Gravity, by the way?
I did not yet.
I
tried.
Fun. Yeah, you were cute.
Is that the one that had the 5-minute or 10-minute queue?
That one I never got in. It said ETA 37 seconds. I was in queue for over 5 minutes for the 6v6 one, and then the 3v3, which is low grav. I never got in.
No, low grav is 6. And the new map.
Either way, I didn't get into the low grav. I I got to the 6v6 where you could go outside into the low grav, but the whole map wasn't low grav.
So all
I
the
got
maps are
default
low grav in the actual low grav brawl, and then
Okay.
in the new map, only one area is.
Yeah, I got the new map, and it took like 5 minutes, and I didn't get back in. It wouldn't let me back in, so I got to play it once.
It's fun.
But yeah, the map itself looks fun, but Anyway, we got anything else going, or do we want to get started? Sounds like we need to get started.
Well, I just got sent a picture, and I don't know why I got sent the picture. Galv sent me a picture of the stream.
I see why.
What are you sending me?
I see why. I'm not looking. I wasn't looking, but yeah, yeah. Good job, Theory.
I think we should leave that. I think we should leave it.
We should leave it just to mess with people.
Oh yeah, you guys are in the wrong places. I maybe we should just leave it just to leave it. So the funny thing about that is, and you're muted, so that makes up for everything.
That does.
Yes.
Okay.
About time. It's only been like 15 episodes.
No, you should leave it.
Yeah, we should leave it. The funny thing is me and her are in the same spot. The names, for whatever reason, are different.
I think you're incorrect. Because she's always on the right.
Mm.
Yeah. And it's fixed. Thank you, Galv, even though I had no idea why you sent me that picture. Appreciate it, sir.
I think that gets fail of the week.
That
does
does
it?
get.
Does it? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we do have some news coming up. Was there anything else you guys want to talk about before we jump into news? Take that as
no. The thing I will bring up will be in the WoW area. So
yeah. Okay, so here we go.
This is the Blizzard news you can use.
So, first up this week, Rise of the Necromancer pack arrives June 27th. And Draven is super giddy about this one.
yeah, Necromancer, the character that I started Diablo 2 with, and way too many hours playing that game.
I switched the screens perfect time for that. You were in a power woohoo move right when it changed. So that was good.
Yeah.
So yeah, which is pretty cool. Now how much did this pack cost, Draven?
It is right now approximately 126,000 gold. Also known as $15 US.
Not too bad. Okay. Very cool.
I bring up the gold because that's how I'm paying for it.
I probably will not play it. I did reinstall Diablo, but I haven't opened it since I reinstalled it. It's still sitting there.
Okay, so this is how it's going to happen for me. I'm going to get it Tuesday, the 27th. I'm going to make sure it's all installed. I'm going to create a character, and then I'm going to log off and go back to whatever it was I was doing, because I've got too much stuff outside of this to even think about touching it right now. But I will play it, hopefully later in the week. If I could probably skip a couple things. Just depends. But I already know
Technically,
Tuesdays.
don't need concordance on all of your characters yet.
No, I'm not going for concordance on all my characters yet. For what I'm doing, I'm getting them leveled. I'm doing the Legion Fall thing, and I'm getting the mounts. But beyond that, I got other stuff going on Tuesday, so I'm not gonna have time to actually play it Tuesday.
You have to get the pet on your rogue.
Yeah, my rogue hasn't even been started. Well, I guess it was. It's 105. Oh, yeah, that's in the. We'll put that in the WoW section. What I just thought of.
Cool.
But yeah, Necromancer. Yeah.
Next up on the news front, there was some deals made between Blizzard and Twitch. They announced a 2-year worldwide collaboration, which, if you remember, we were talking about Blizzard's streaming on Facebook and how that kind of flopped.
It failed.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So this makes a lot more sense than the other one did. However, my one question about this is, do you suppose that now that they have this partnership, they'll try to incorporate some type of connection between the launcher and the new Twitch app, since Blizz also started their new voice thing, which no one uses? So that'll be interesting.
Actually, I know a lot of people who use it.
Really? I don't.
If it does not require video, I know a lot of people that will use that over Discord, over Twitch, over everything else, because they say voice-wise, Blizzard app is the best one out there.
Really? Interesting.
But you had so many problems with it, Draven.
I did, and I think I fixed those problems. I don't know how I fixed it, but I did. I have used it since. I have been able to hear and speak in it. So I think that issue has been solved. And I wasn't the only one having the issue, though, so I know it wasn't, 100% me.
Well, I do think that with the way that the Blizzard app is kind of growing, a la Destiny, it would not be a bad idea for them to try to further push out more usability on the Blizzard app, such as what Discord gives, using their voice technology as well. I didn't realize their voice was that good, though. That's crazy.
Yeah, from what I hear, it's great.
You're the only person I know who's actually used it, and I was even in the beta, and I didn't use it once. So.
I've used it, but last fall when it was released.
From what I have heard, a lot of people will use it while they're playing Heroes instead of using Discord. I know a lot of people, when they play in groups, they will use the Blizzard app to talk in that game PUBG, the shooter game. They use the Blizzard app on that too. Those seem to be the two big ones that I'm aware of, at least in the circle that I have information with, that they're using.
So why would they use the Blizzard voice chat for PUBG?
That's what I was wondering.
Because they think it's better than Discord. So instead of talking through Discord or using the in-game one, because the PUBG's in-game one is not very good.
Well, that just speaks to maybe Blizzard should push it a little further then and actually turn it into something similar to the Twitch app or the what was the other one?
Discord?
Yeah, because if people are already using it, why not do it? But I guess we'll find out later on down the road if they decide to.
I'm fine with it staying as it is. And since you brought up Destiny, I don't think they're going to push it into, here's Call of Duty, here's a voice app for it. Here's this. I hope they don't put because I don't ever want to see Call of Duty. And if I can, not have the icon on my screen, that'll be great. But
well, I know that they will start talking about using the Blizzard app for voice if it's already that big for all Activision games that don't have their own voice.
Keep in mind, my sample size that I'm giving you is small. There's not like thousands of people. It's maybe like 10, 15, 20 people.
That
So it's not a huge group of people. But it's enough people that the people who do use it are like, holy crap, this is really good.
We'll see what happens. So there was another big thing that happened with HOTS this week. There was a mid-season Brawl Grand Finals, and Fnatic takes it.
Yep. Korea didn't make the finals for the first international tournament in Heroes since, for the first BlizzCon that Heroes was a thing. That was the last time that Korea didn't make the finals. Ever since then, it's been Korea wins, Korea wins, Korea wins.
Yeah,
so they're not in the finals at all?
Korea was not in the finals. They were top 3. Yeah, they were top 3, but they did not get into that final match, top 2. It was Europe versus Europe, which everyone was like, yes, because no one expected NA to break top 8, to be honest.
And then the hero build comp for the team was Genji, Brightwing, Anubarak, Falstad, and Dahaka. Pretty good spread.
Genji's OP and all this stuff.
Genji main.
He's pretty good in Heroes too. I don't have the patience to learn him. I don't like that style of character. I'll stick with the ones I got, and a couple of the other ones. But it was great. The entire it was over 2 different weekends, and the first week of it was like the group stage where they're just basically going back and forth and all that. I think we talked about it that week, but it was really fun matches and all that fun stuff. If you're into watching Heroes, this entire brawl was just amazing. I sent a tweet out, how do you top these matches? I was like, you let Grubby be an artist, because they were being silly through some of the areas, which I thought was great. And Grubby drew like Caleris, as my hero or something like that. And then they had the All-Star game, which had people from one person from each team from the West, which was EU and NA and stuff like that, versus Korea, basically. And there was reverse draft where one side got to pick the team for the other side, and it was back. It was just so much fun. It was so silly. And then the finals, that last game, when they knew they had it, Fnatic, they literally panned the camera to Fnatic, the players, and they were out of their chair, just like, yeah, jumping up, screaming and all that, hugging each other, while their characters in game are still, attacking the objective. Because they won at that point. And that was so cool.
Okay. So next up on the news front, there was some changes to loot. Tell us about the loot changes, Raven.
It's all about the loot. Well, in Overwatch, I'll cover the Overwatch part. Scarlett, I'll let you handle Hearthstone, because you're going to know that a little better than me.
Huh.
Well, for Overwatch, they are eventually, it's not in yet, but they are going to work on it. Less chance of duplicates. End of story. Which is yay. My one complaint is the seasonal event stuff. The legendaries are just too expensive. But I'll take the less likely to get dupes. I don't think they're removing the ability to get duplicates, although that would be great too. But they're just reducing the chance of duplicates heavily, at least.
Yeah, that's a win, especially now since there is so many different things you can get. It was different when it was brand new and there was a more limited actual number of things you could get from it. But what were the changes for Hearthstone, Scarlett?
So you will now no longer be able to get duplicates in the same pack, especially of commons. Like, it was easy before to get like 3 or 4 of the same card in the pack. So you won't get that. And also there's I think in the first 10 cards that you buy, you will get a legendary, as well as you won't get duplicate legendaries if you buy like a pack of things. So basically kind of similar to the Overwatch issue where people were complaining about duplicates. It's fixing that.
And didn't Bro do like a video for that? I thought I remember seeing a video for that one. Is that right? Did you see that? Either one of you?
I don't think I saw one.
So I saw
100% honest, I stopped paying attention to anything Hearthstone outside Mulligan.
Pinbroad's cool though, and he does videos in front of his staircase at his house, which is kind of amazing to me. So I saw it. It was basically him talking about that, and you kind of already said this, but that you won't get a legendary that you already have anymore from your initial packs on a new expansion. You probably already said that, but Hearthstone, so I wasn't listening. But yeah, I just think it's neat that he actually does that himself. So.
Yeah, they're actually from his basement or somewhere in his house, basically.
Yeah, we're all stalking him to figure out where he makes his videos. So then there was this other thing, which was Overwatch related. And if you're not watching the video, you should be. Let that sink in. Sinking in. Is it sinking in?
It's sinking in.
Anyway, there was an announcement, kind of, not really, that happened where Overwatch GG posted something that they were able to find out, which is that the new PTR is called 1.13.0.0 Doomfist / Summer Games, according to their crash logs. How real is this, Draven?
In all honesty, I think this is real. I haven't been able to confirm it because I haven't crashed the PTR on my end. But there are some people posting some coding and stuff like that where it seems to confirm it. So honestly, there's two options. Well, three options. Two options if it's real, and then there's always the chance that it's fake. Option one, assuming it's real. Doomfist is closer than we thought. And someone at Blizzard screwed up. Option two, if it's real. Someone at Blizzard is freaking trolling everybody and doing a great job of it.
Well, this is Overwatch. They do like to troll us. I would not be surprised at all if it's just a troll move.
Usually they don't do that in the coding, though. Like in the actual names of the patches and stuff.
But think of all the crap they did for Sombra, dude. They know people look at this. There's a pretty good chance. I'd put it 50-50 that they did this on purpose. However,
yeah, if it's on purpose,
I
it's either
honestly
someone
think
screwed
it's
up.
on purpose as well.
Yeah, it's named that and it's oops, we didn't mean to push that out with that coding in it, or it's on purpose and they're trolling us.
Yeah.
If Doomfist, we know Doomfist is eventually we assume Doomfist is eventually
There was another thing about this that I want to say it was Diva, the voice actress for Diva, posted some things on Twitter saying that there was going to be something new released that she was recording vocals for very, very soon. And I'm wondering if this new video that everybody's anticipating that there's going to be a new, not cutscene, but a new animation.
Short.
Yeah, like an animated short put out is going to have both Diva and Doomfist in it. And if it does, that would be amazing.
Well,
you guys did not see Jeff's developer update, did you?
Apparently not. What was in Jeff's developer update?
So remember a few weeks ago where Michael Chu, I think it was, tweeted that they got new jerseys and they were Overwatch related? No? So basically they had a picture, it looks like a hockey jersey, and it had just logos of different stuff, but it was Overwatch themed. Well, the developer update, Jeff came out wearing a giant pink Diva one.
Okay.
So everyone's freaking out because, yes, assuming there's something big Diva related to.
Well, that just backs up the Diva thing. But, I mean, we kind of already knew that from her tweets and her saying there was something coming.
The issue here, though, and people have kind of forgotten about this, that first tweet where she's like posing with the onion thingamajiggy.
Yeah.
Is she said there was a big reveal coming Friday, and I haven't seen anything.
No, nothing was revealed as far as I know.
Yeah, the only thing I saw was the jersey. And that was on Thursday, I believe.
Yeah.
So maybe something got pushed back, or I mean, it's possible I missed it, but
yeah, it probably got pushed back. It wasn't quite ready yet, or something like that. That makes total sense. That it wasn't ready yet, and they held it back, or it could be that there's something we just haven't found yet.
Now, the thing I will say is the Overwatch GG tweet did happen on Friday. With the Doomfist / Summer Games
maybe this
code.
was the reveal. In which case, that seems a little strange.
I hope that wasn't the reveal. If they're going to actually reveal Doomfist not at BlizzCon, then they need to do something like no info comes out and then boom, cinematic.
Well, when's Gamescom? Isn't that happening like next week or something?
Yeah.
So it makes sense for it to happen at Gamescom. Maybe it'll be if Gamescom is next weekend. Maybe the Friday she was talking about wasn't yesterday. It's next week.
But the way she phrased it, it heavily implied it was at this point yesterday.
True, but it would make more sense for them to release something that's that big at Gamescom.
Yeah.
Than it would.
Yeah. If Doomfist isn't coming BlizzCon, Gamescom is the only other thing I can think of that is statuesque enough, I guess would be the right way to say that.
That would be hype enough to not be BlizzCon at Gamescom. It would make sense for it to be there. So I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that it's that one. But I think that's it for our non-Warcraft news. Did you guys have anything else you want to talk about that's not Warcraft related? Nope. All right, so we're going to go into some Warcraft here as soon as I hit the buttons.
World of Warcraft.
So first up, there actually was a couple things that happened. Number one, we don't really have a slide for it, but you'll be able to see it anyway here in just a second. They actually did a hot fix that made it so that completing your first Legion Heroic Dungeon or random Heroic Dungeon each day will award you with 5 of the essences in order to upgrade your legendaries. Let me get this on the screen. Bear with me. And you can kind of read about that either on Twitter or on MMO Champion, which is what we're kind of looking at here. And the reason that we're looking at this mainly is not for that announcement, but that announcement is big. There is a big post from their developer Ask Me Anything that was on Reddit. Now, we are not going to cover all of this because there is a lot, but maybe cover a couple of different highlights. I'll start first. I'll just cover some things about warriors. If you happen to be a DPS warrior, Khalid did a really good video about warriors. I'm going to kind of scroll down a little bit while we're talking about that. And he was not really happy with some of the answers that they gave because a couple of the things that they said didn't really match up about how the warriors actually work. And yes, I'm sorry if you're watching the video because this is a lot of scrolling, but there is just a ton of information. If you have not read this, you definitely should. One of the things that there seems to be kind of a common theme with most of the classes is problems with trinkets and the lack there of trinkets that actually make sense to use in Tomb and the ability to continue to use them from Nighthold or have to go back and farm them from Nighthold. Did I pass? No, I didn't pass. And obviously some folks don't really like the idea of having to raid 2 different raids in order to get the right gear, which I kind of agree with. And by the time I get to Warrior, I'm going to be done talking about Warrior. Okay, here we go. Talked about how the Gladiator talent was taken away. And that it was a blast play. It was super sad when it was taken away. And their thing about that was they agreed that Gladiator stance delivered on Awesome Fantasy, but ultimately it was muddled what Protection was all about and led to player confusion when grouping with and against Prot Warriors. I agree with that. I actually had 2 different occasions where I was in dungeons as Glad stance, and they're like, why are you have a shield? What are you doing? We already have a tank. And I had to explain to them that it was actually a DPS class. Or talent choice, and that was not fun. But I still kind of agree with the person that asked the question. I thought it was cool. I think it should bring it back. A couple other things. The stuff that Clade was talking about the arms.
A good idea would be a 4th warrior spec, since we know they can do that since druids have it.
Yeah, but even still, would it be enough to make people actually understand that it wasn't a tank?
Well, a lot of times, whenever at least I saw a Glad warrior, they were marked as tank in the raid frames.
True, because technically they were prot. They just were a Glad prot. So yeah.
Yeah, so you putting them as being able to mark them as DPS, not by talent, but make that its own spec. Boom, problem solved.
And
Admittedly, it's going to be a little more complicated than that, but
then the last thing about Warriors, before I let one of you guys talk about one of the sections you want to talk about, they talked a little bit about the way that the mechanic of Juggernaut works for Fury and how you basically just have to stand there and stack Juggernaut stacks, which is a stack you get every time you execute. And if you get above like 40 stacks, it does crazy amounts of damage. But if you mess up and can't get above like 10, you're really kind of losing DPS by even worrying about it. And they kind of said they agree that it's kind of weird and that they don't really necessarily like the idea of having to stack to 99 stacks, which is a kind of arbitrary number. And this is one of the things that Clade was talking about as well. So I agree that that's kind of weird. It doesn't really fit the rest of the rotation in the gameplay, in my opinion, for Fury. So I hope that they do change it, but it doesn't seem like they're going to change it anytime soon. All right, who wants to go next?
I can talk about the drama.
Let's talk about the drama. What was the drama?
So Reddit wasn't actually very happy because
when is Reddit actually ever very happy?
True point. Very true point. But apparently, because a lot of the like famous-ish people for certain class specs made like long-winded questions, the developers only answered those basically and not many other people's. So a lot of people were kind of upset about that. And then apparently when talking specifically about like specific issues with, say, shamans or windwalker monks, the topics just got kind of danced around. So people weren't really happy about the answers that they got.
Okay, so I'm just going to jump in right there and say there are some things they're not going to be able to talk to us about, no matter what their job is.
Agreed.
And also, if I was doing an AMA and I knew that there were quote-unquote big names asking questions, like let's say Towley was asking a question, yeah, I'm going to make sure I answer him.
But
if that means I skip somebody else's, I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm going to make sure I answer Towley first because he's got a huge freaking following. It's not going to be actually playing favor.
But it wasn't just one question. The people basically put like 20 questions in one paragraph, and then the developer spent all that time talking about that.
Well, I mean, if you look at this write-up MMO Champion has, the writing for the questions is in white, and their answers is in blue. And there's a lot of answers that have an awful lot of blue, but only few questions that have more than a couple sentences in white. So, like, here's a really long one here. But to be perfectly honest, I don't necessarily support that claim that it was a lot of huge questions that took them forever to answer. Although, if you take a look at this chunk right here, this is an awful lot.
But, well, the awful lot is but what if some of the other questions could have been broken down from the same person. So it could have been the same person asking all those white texts.
For sure. Yeah, that's possible. The thing I would say though is that Draven's right as far as if it's a celebrity / streamer, usually their questions don't really come from them. They come from stuff that their people who watch them or consume their materials give them anyway. So it's kind of a way to break down an indirect question, so to speak. So like Tally, for example, he may have some questions of his own, but if he's got 4,000 people that are talking to him about it, chances are he's going to use the questions that they ask him or some version of them when he actually submits the questions. He's not really just going to put his own in unless his own's really good. But the educated questions are much better, like Howland just said in the chat, and I agree with that 100%. However, some of their answers were very, very specific, and other ones were not. And that's kind of where it gets weird. Yes, there's some things they can't talk about, but when you have someone that's literally breaking down different abilities and they're either wrong or right about how they actually work, and then someone else who's dancing around it, that doesn't feel so good. But Draven.
That could have been where the disconnect was.
Right, and I could definitely understand that. But you also have a whole bunch of people answering at the same time, so it's probably a little difficult to make sure everything's, the same as far as how they're answering them. But Draven, did you have anything you wanted to touch on for Paladins?
They're still working on it. I mean, the weird buff we get when our friends die is still being talked about, which I love when I'm the last one alive, because that means I can hit like a truck for a few seconds before that buff goes away, and I'm promptly killed because the boss is looking at me and be like, Paladin.
Yeah.
But
one thing I liked, and this was a simple one, is somebody said, would it be possible for Paladins to have their Divine Steed spell replaced with their class mount by using a glyph? And they said that they liked that, and they would look at it for the next round of cosmetic glyphs. I think that's, for that class, that's cool.
That is cool.
I think every class should get this glyph.
The problem
not
is
necessarily to use a Paladin one, but this glyph allows it to pick from your favorites. Boom.
No,
The problem
because you
is
don't want a paladin on invincible during a fight. That's just weird.
No, that would be amazing. However, they're like the only class that uses a mount
Warlock.
to sprint.
Okay.
Warlock doesn't use a mount to sprint.
Okay, but yeah. So I mean, you bring your logic into this. But I still think putting your favorites.
Yeah.
Pick from favorites. That what I would like, because then you could have any number of weird mounts in the middle. It would have to be ground mounts only, so it can't be dragons, because they're just too big.
Well, the thing I would say, to be perfectly honest, when the Divine Steed thing first came out, I thought it was dumb. I thought it was completely stupid. Why the hell are you going to just mount up in the middle of the fight and run across the room? I still think it's a little dumb. It's just more accepted now.
It is dumb.
I liked it better when we just had our own version of sprint, and I thought it was fine. But if we're going to have to mount up, then we should be able to mount up at least on the class mount. That makes sense to me.
By the holy light.
It just doesn't make sense for one class to be able to mount up in the middle of the fight in order to sprint from A to B.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think with all that is they wanted to add some flair to the paladin one, because warriors can jump around, monks can roll or torpedo or whatever they decide, rogues have actual sprint, mages have blink, et cetera and so forth.
True.
Warlock have their little teleport. Every class.
Death Knight's Wraithwalk.
Wraithwalk.
No, it's not the same.
It's not the same, but it's still faster movement.
Now that's
the same.
a case where if the Death Knight mounted up on Invincible, that would be kind of cool.
Exactly.
But again, it still doesn't make sense in the sense of why does this class get to just mount up in the middle of the fight and do whatever they want?
Yeah, it's just, I think it literally is they wanted to give the paladin something different, and they couldn't think of how to do a sprint that looked different. Personally, I would have been fine with, I know there's a glyph or something for mages that give you a little rainbow when you're after you blink or you're slow falling or something.
Mm-hmm.
Just give us a yellow, just a pure yellow wall, like light, like a Tron laser from our back or something, saying we're sprinting.
Mages, just every time you blink, your what do they call it? Manhole covers could come shooting out from behind you. So
They're
all
fidget
three,
spinners.
Yeah, the fidget spinners just all. Anyway, Wraithwalk, as Galv says, he thinks it's horrible. And that's really not that Wraithwalk is that bad. It's that your movement is so crap. Just buff Wraithwalk and then it's fine.
It
Make
looks
it actually
dumb
work
though.
right.
You're not moving. You're not even Reaper. You're just frozen.
Yeah, you're a ghost.
It's horrible.
So
yeah, but it's
this
horrible.
was actually this ability was taken directly from Heroes of the Storm. There is a character that can do this exact thing. The only difference here is he doesn't get stuck in cracks.
So this is what they should do. Buff it so it's an actual sprint and make it look like Reapers, and everyone would be happy. Just do that, because
be cool.
all the DKs want to be able to actually move faster, not just kind of move faster. And they would love it to actually look like Reaper rather than the way that it looks now. Or,
I personally like the Wraithwalk. I haven't messed with it where I got stuck on anything yet, but I think it looks great.
Make it be a glyph so that people like you can still use the regular version if you want. But they should still buff it and make it like a real sprint. So, anyway. moving on, we're actually getting pretty close to the end. And before we talk about this next part, we have to let you know that this is a little spoilery. So, if you don't want to know about the end of Tomb, you should turn off the podcast. Because we're going to talk about
or just
spoilery
mute
stuff.
it for a few.
Or mute us, yeah. I don't have the cool spoilery graphic that we used to use anymore. It's gone. Sorry. If you have not already figured it out, at the end of Tomb, things change. And we kind of called this,
Garrosh comes back and he takes his hood off and tells Dan that no, we're not drinking your Kool-Aid.
And
The
rocks,
orcs
rocks
can
fall.
go die in the fell, okay?
Yeah. So, to be a little bit more real, I don't even know if I want to explain it. Let's just start this way. Draven, what was your opinion of the cutscene after KJ?
In terms of like what it looked like, in terms of what it was setting up, what do you mean?
Let's start with your opinion of whether or not it was a good cutscene.
I thought it was a great cutscene. There was one small nitpicky thing on it, and Noble, however you want to say his name, talks about it way better than I ever will, but basically it's the method. There was just one word that got changed, and that changed a whole lot of stuff, and it's like, kind of thing.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll come back to that in a sec. Scarlett, do you agree? Do you have any more you'd like to add for your opinion of it?
Illidan is sexy.
Okay. I was highly impressed. However, if you remember, we had a little bit of a debate about how we were going to end up in a certain place, and we'll just, whatever, in Argus. And when it was going to happen and how it was going to happen. And we talked about this and how we thought at the end of the fight something was going to happen that was going to force us to go there. Little did we know it was going to kind of come to us, kind of, in a weird way. If you haven't seen it, what basically happens, and I'm not going to give you all the details, is we do defeat KJ, kind of. We are not the ones that get to kill him, because just like always, someone else does that for us. We get him down to a very small percentage, and then someone else decides to step in and take care of the rest. However, when that happens, everyone's about to die, so Illibad takes off his cool little green crystal and decides that he's going to pop open a big portal to let Dadgar send us home. Little does Dadgar know that his little green crystal is semi-permanent, so when you get home, that big port in the sky is still there, and Argus is now in our skyline. However, if you've not beaten KJ, you will not see it until you do, which I think is amazing technology, and love the fact that they did that. However, you're going to have people being like, hey, look up in the sky. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see anything. There's a big green planet there. I can't see anything. So that's going to be pretty easy to troll people for a little while. But all in all, I thought it was great. I would like to actually kill the end boss once. Blizzard, can we please actually kill the end boss once without having someone else step in and do it? Jesus.
But nobody killed at the end nobody killed him. Someone just was like, okay, bye.
That's what I'm talking. Well, no, okay. So we ported away, and then his ship blew up.
That's
you
true.
You see the ship blow up.
Yeah.
However,
sorry, I thought you meant what's his name was killing him.
No, Velen's talking to him right before we all port back to life and through the green crystal magic. From Illibad, but I feel like at the end of every freaking good raid, we don't get to actually end the fight. Something happens. So now if they want to bring back KJ yet again, they could say, well, you didn't see him die. All you saw was his ship explode. You don't really know that he's dead. You didn't actually get to finish him. So now there's going to be some book that what's-her-name's going to write about how he survived, and he's going to come back and get us again.
No, he died in the Twisting Nether.
How do you know this?
Did he? Well, that's
where the spaceship was.
He may have gotten off the spaceship.
He's not alive.
So, going by the video itself, And I'm gonna throw a nice piece of Aryan joke here because that's my thing. Velen went piece of Aryan all over him and disenchanted him, and that caused him to explode and thus his ship to explode in the Twisting Nether, because Argus is considered in the Twisting Nether. That being said, as theory you said, current theories are we don't know if he's actually dead, and then there's another weird theory that Velen didn't kill him. He cleansed the fel out of him, bringing him back to our side.
Well, if that was the case, he should have been standing next to us there on our little mountaintop looking at the green planet. But
I don't think they would do that. That would be something that he'd hide him off.
You're right about the exploding thing. I'd forgotten about him putting his hand on his face and starting to do the
That was like
Aryan thing.
absolving him of his sins, kind of
But
stupid.
that act of touching him caused the same thing that happened to Varian prior from Gul'dan, and then Gul'dan from Illidan. Hey, here's touching. Guess what? Boom, you're gonna explode.
Yeah.
So are you saying that Velen is actually bad?
No,
Oh.
I'm
Well,
maybe, but
well, that could go either way. But so first off, we got to go back a little bit. Howland says, "Didn't we kill Archimode?" We did, but unless you did it on Mythic, you didn't do it in the right place. He's not actually dead.
actually, it doesn't matter. Even if you did it on Mythic, the actual cutscene takes place on Draenor.
Good point.
That's
So
the place he died.
even though
Archimond is still alive.
Yeah, even though we killed him, he didn't actually die because he died on our planet. And then what else? Hot lemon water. What? I don't know what that
We're
is.
talking about cleansing.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I really liked it. I think it was cool. I did watch it before I killed it, and then I watched it again after I killed it, and I enjoyed it both times. There's a cutscene before going to KJ, though, which is a little bit different, which you're going to have to experience yourself, but it's pretty neat as well.
Haven't seen that one yet. I'll see
No,
it
I
Monday.
haven't seen that one either.
It's kind of just setting up the final stage without giving you any details. It makes the fight make sense at that time where it is. Also, if you happen to be the kind of person that has a tendency to get motion sick, don't look around too much when you're fighting KJ, because you may not be able to fight KJ. At least not very
Did you
well.
get sick?
No, not me, but I heard a lot of other people did.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
So
I've watched videos of people fighting him. Theory, I actually watched you guys kill him
Yeah.
the other night in your raid, and I saw that and I was like, that's not gonna be good for some people.
Yeah. It's gorgeous, but there's some weird movement in the sky, and yeah. But I will say this, I was highly impressed with that boss fight. So much going on. However, he hits like a damn truck on normal. He hits like a truck. Maybe just
Yeah.
turn it down just a little bit.
He's second in command of the entire Legion. He better hit like a freaking truck.
It was normal. You like
I don't care.
one melee swing
Damn.
shouldn't take 80% of your tank's life away in one melee swing.
Get your mitigation up.
Damn.
No, that's with mitigation up. He hits
I
for
know.
like 11 million without mitigation up. But anyway, so yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It might be overtuned a little bit, but in all honesty, I would rather it be slightly overtuned than undertuned because it is it's freaking kill Jaden.
I do agree with that, but does it always have to be overtuned in the sense that your tanks can't survive? Can maybe we have some overtuned in the sense that your DPS can't do enough DPS or your healers can't keep everyone alive? It seems like the overtune always, at least recently, has been your tanks will die.
That's the only way to guarantee it being overtuned. You can't guarantee it being unless you give them so much health that your DPS
you
literally can't do
You
it.
give it a hard
And then-
enrage that's hard to hit.
Yeah.
That's you know.
Give them a hard and rate, sure, but it's the last time they did that, and they for sure knew was in Burning Crusade, and people rage quit the game over it.
True.
Like the boss was impossible, and that was back when we could have like 5-6 shamans for constant bloodlust, time warp, hero, whatever you want to call it.
So now that we've kind of talked about this thing, you probably will hear people saying, "What have you done?" a lot over the next couple of weeks. What was the other couple of catchphrases from it? There was like 4.
Oh god, there's so many of them that people
It's
are.
not the catchphrases. It's the
It's not.
looks.
It's yeah. What people have done. Someone screen capped a blank copy of that look that Khadgar gave Illidan, and he's just looking up, and Khadgar's like,
Khadgar.
he's like, dude, WTF?
Yeah.
And Illidan's just looking up, like, yeah, I did that. So people have been taken to memeing the crap out of that, and my personal favorite is the one I made, obviously. Khadgar's just looking at him like, you and Maiev did what?
Yeah, it was good.
I thought, yeah.
So,
I
for,
have slept with both of them. You know that.
so for those of you who remember back to what I was talking about as far as possibly switching tanks for Mythic, in addition to that fight hitting like a truck, which basically we were trying to taunt off at 5 stacks of the claws, that's too high. I think most people are doing it at like 3, but yeah, bear tank can take more because they have more life. There was another thing that we ran into in Heroic, and I can't remember the name of the boss, but there's a boss where you have to go into a different room and fight another ad to get cleansed in order to come back and to get rid of your torment. Draven, I don't know if you remember the name, or Scarlet, one of you two, if you can remember the name of that boss. I can't
Which
remember
boss?
the name of it. It's the one where you have to go in the other room and fight the little like ad. that
That's
drops.
the
Oh, the one I
Shadow
kept
Realm
messing up.
thing?
The second dude.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, that
So-
one. I don't know.
In
Yeah, I don't
Heroic, we first started 2-tanking it, which I kind of preferred the 2-tank, thinking more DPS, faster dead boss. Not the case. 3-tank works a lot better. But in 2-tanking it, as I was coming back from that room, I got one shot. No chance to get up mitigation, no chance to do anything. I'm literally running back in the room, one shot. And it, like... I don't know. That's kind of where my frustration is with Paladin right now. If you have the SOTR up, you're amazing. If you don't have SOTR up, you're a wet noodle that's ready to break, and that's frustrating.
I think in that case, you literally just got unlucky. Like they might have hit you from behind or something.
No,
Damn.
I was running back to him, so he couldn't have hit me in behind because usually there's like 2 spots that it ports you back to, either on top of the I would call it the ranged ad, or in the part of the room where you first come in. So that's really the only 2 spots that it ports you back to. So the other ad is pretty far away from there, the one that you have to pick up. It's very possible. Yeah, Demonic Inquisition. That's the name of it.
We should call them whips and chains.
That's
Pretty
actually
much.
my shaman's name.
Yeah.
I know,
Uh,
but I just meant,
It is a
Repeat.
dirty fight. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm frustrated right now with my Paladin, just to be honest. And it doesn't help that the tanks that I've been tanking with are amazing. We have a new guy who came from the No Big Deal / I forget the name of it, what they changed their name to, who's awesome. He's got like 8.5 million life. He's a bear tank that does crazy high DPS and really good threat. So
That's 2 million more health than I have.
yeah,
Damn.
yeah, he was more than 2 million above me on my Paladin. And the problem,
He's a druid.
yeah, he's a druid.
I know.
But before this, it was just 1 million, so it sucked, but it didn't suck that bad. Now 2 million difference anyway. But in addition to that, because of the fact that he has so much life, he's focusing on other things and doing crazy high DPS. And because of that, threat's an issue. So here I am trying not to die and can't put out enough damage to maintain threat because I've switched everything to survivability. So that's where my frustration comes from on Paladin right now. Which I'm sure if I kept
Fair
going,
enough.
got a few pieces of gear, it'd probably be fine. But still
Yeah, I
frustrating.
think that's just a gear issue. It sounds like he outgears you by a lot.
No, he doesn't. That's the funny part. He's like 1 or 2 eye levels above me. He doesn't outgear me by a lot. It's just a different type of.
I love that comment, Howland, by the way. No one expects the demonic inquisition.
Yeah. But anyway, did you guys have anything else that you wanted to talk about? I think that
Well,
pretty much
before-
covers everything.
There was a couple things I did want to touch on, but before I did any of that, in theory, you've actually cleared the place now.
Yes.
And Scarlet, you've done same as me, 8 or 9.
I haven't cleared
No,
it.
there's only 9, so we're
Well,
7.
we got through 6, 7, however many we got.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So-
I just wanted to know what are your impressions so far in terms of the raid itself, not just what it looks like, because obviously it looks amazing. The graphics people definitely didn't go, oh, it's just going to be green. There's green areas, sure, but it's not just all green like Citadel is. But what do you guys think of the raid itself? The boss fights, the environment, all that.
Scarlett, you go first.
Fuck the fish. Actually, that wasn't even the worst one. And Draven's like, oh my god, I gotta edit stuff. But honestly, the worst one was the the fish is just stupid. I don't even know what's going on in that fight. I was just like, I don't even know. So yeah. Fish.
Oh man, that made me laugh. I'm glad you went first.
But it's cool otherwise.
Okay, so I like that fight, by the way. Even though I call it a whale, and apparently it's a shark, but it looks more like a big guppy that jumps above you.
There is a whale and a fish.
It's right shark looking for his brother left shark.
Damn.
Wouldn't it have been funny if they'd actually used that graphic to do it instead of the big guppy looking fish, but it actually was like a right shark? They should have done that. They missed it. Oh my god. Maybe they could do it for like a holiday event where it's actually right shark that jumps and stuff. Anyway, I agree with what the chat's saying. It's beautiful. That fight I really like. Center shark would be even better. I run. All the fights I really like, to be perfectly honest. I have not done the 7th and 8th fight. I have watched them on multiple streams, but I've not actually done them because I didn't go with CTM on their normal 8 of 9 night. I cleared the 9th boss with them, and then we went 6, I think. I'm confused now. Howland will probably let me know. It's either 4 or 6 of heroic. I don't remember. I think it was 4. But yeah, it's beautiful. The mechanics are good. I think the 7th and 8th are the harder ones, to be honest, because now that I know how KJ works, those ones require a lot more actual knowledge from everyone in the group, kind of like the fish fight does. But the fish fight you can kind of overpower a little bit. For example, on the fish fight, until like the 3rd time I did it, I had no idea that when you kill the eels, puts green crap on the ground, which sucks up the tornadoes. So if you stand behind them, the tornadoes don't do anything. I had no idea that actually happened until like the 3rd or 4th time I was on the fight. I was just moving out of the green stuff because don't stand in bed. But there's lots of little things like that mechanically you might be able to overpower. But if you learn how to do it better, you can clear it faster and less damage, all that kind of good stuff. So, yeah, I don't agree that 7th is the hardest, especially once you figure out the way that it works. To be honest, there's a couple different ways to do that fight, but anyway, I really do like it. This is the bottom line. What do you think?
It's definitely a good change of pace. I'm definitely glad I have not seen a botanist fight, because I will second your opinion on that fight, and I don't ever want to see that kind of a fight again for a long time. But I mean, visually, it's amazing. I actually, on some of the runbacks, I stopped and smelled the roses, or in this case, I looked at the books. I just looked around a bit as I'm running around through and all that, and they put a lot of effort into making it look like an actual church.
Yeah.
So, because that's what it was originally, but going around and all that, I mean, there's a lot of details, and you could take a screenshot in a lot of places, and you could have it mean something completely. Oh, I'm in a library in this section. Oh, I'm.
Yeah.
But there's that one statue that everyone thinks is really creepy, and I don't know why.
The statue or the faces?
The statue
What
that
face?
she's holding up the little bowl thing in her hand like this over her head, and I'm like, that's not creepy.
Yeah, the giant statue. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And
Why do people think that's creepy?
I don't know. People have found it creepy. I'm like, if they wanted to make it creepy, this is what they should have done. Put wings on the back of it and have her cover her face. That way she looks like a freaking weeping angel. Completely screw with people. And then every now and then, it's in a different position.
Move. Exactly. That would be amazeballs.
Good morning, Alessander. It is 12:30 in the morning where you're at. 1:30 for me. So I honestly think that statue should have been a boss. She should have broken out of the statue and attacked you. That's what should have happened. However, the room that has all the faces in it, Thist actually posted a thing on Twitter talking about how beautiful the raid was and used a picture from that. The eyes move in like the creepiest way, but there's a lot of it that's absolutely beautiful. That's what Hallin's talking about. The heads in Avatar's room.
Yeah. I haven't been in that room yet, but from that screenshot I saw, I was like, oh, they went Game of Thrones on us and added demonic energy to it.
Make it gigantic and around the top of the room. You probably couldn't tell that from her picture. These are huge, not.
No, I figured they were not tiny. I'm just saying that visual of the faces on the wall, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of right off the top of my head. I was like, huh, okay, cool. But yeah, in terms of the raid itself, mechanically, first couple bosses are at least on normal, which is what we've done, were kind of a breeze, and I didn't expect them to be all that hard to begin with.
First
I have
boss was
not
easy on
done.
heroic too.
I figured. I have not done any research on the next 3 outside of watching you guys kill Jaden. So I have to do that still, but I'm going to do that Sunday night, Monday, both days, just because that way.
I would hope before Monday, because we raid on Monday.
I'm going to do it. I'll watch it Sunday, and then I will watch it again on Monday prior to raid, because that's way I'll have the information fresh in my head, and I'll have seen it multiple times. It'll make sense in my head. That's just how I've always done it. That's how it makes it easy on me. But yeah, I mean, I think the raid is great. So far, will I change my mind in 6-7 months? I don't know. It depends, I guess. We'll see.
Yeah. Some of the mechanics were very simple once you figured out what was going on, but there was enough of them that it took a little while to kind of figure out what you needed to do. Like a lot of them, the obvious thing to do wasn't really what you should do, which is the part of the reason why I liked it. Like for example, with the sisters, moon sisters, it talks about standing in the right phase of the moon, right? So obviously you would think moving back and forth on the moon as the moon changed would be the right thing to do. Well, come to find out, stand right in the middle. You don't need to move. The moon phases change on their own, and it will automatically update your debuffs as it changes. Which is like, okay, so you made this really cool thing, and all
I have a feeling. I don't know about heroic because I haven't done it on heroic, but I have a really bad feeling about that attempt trying to do that method on mythic. Which
I'm
I
sure
probably
it's different
won't
on
do,
mythic. Yeah, I mean, I haven't even looked at what that's going to look like, but I don't know. Overall, I definitely feel like it's really good. They're continuing to make really fantastic, creative raids. Which is amazing because their raids have been the best part of the game for a while now, in my opinion, and it just seems to get better. But cool.
Yeah, between the raids, I wish there was a little more story in the raids and not just towards the end with, oh, here's a cinematic to explain kill Jaden, here's a cinematic after killing Kill Jaden or beating him up.
So like
that kind of thing. Having
like
a little bit of
scene after every quarter,
not even a
or something
cutscene
like that.
We know they can do voiceovers with a little bar of them person talking as you're doing
I hate the chat heads though.
Put them in as you're running through and give a quick, oh, this is such and such, or figure out a way to put some kind of story in there. Because I saw in chat earlier, why are the Naga even in there?
There's a reason why. They explained that at BlizzCon. I swear they did.
Okay, but clearly people don't remember. So putting something in there to say, oh, this must be why they're here, or oh, they're here because of this.
Well, the main characters are in the raid with you. They just don't really do anything, which
they don't talk.
Right. I am not against what you're saying, Draven. Have it somehow. However, the talking head thing, there's a lot of people who just wish they could turn that off completely. So they need to do it in a way that's a little bit more compelling. But I would not be against some type of cutscene that you can skip that happens after every couple of bosses or every 3 bosses or something like that, just to kind of further the story. I think that would be a great idea. I don't think it needs to be the level of cutscenes that they're able to do right now. that are, damn amazing. But something to kind of further the story wouldn't be bad. But it definitely needs to be something that can be skipped. Because no one wants to watch it for a period of time.
Alessander says it tells you.
Yeah, but you might not see it. There is a little bit of dialogue, but you could easily miss it. Like, I didn't see that dialogue, but I happen to remember BlizzCon, so I knew.
Yeah.
And it just... I don't know.
Steal the time stones. That makes it seem like we're going to go after Ajara or something if they get it.
I need to reinstall Move Anything.
Yes,
so, speaking of Ajara... And I know this had really nothing to do with the raid, except for the cutscene after, kind of. Do you think Blizzard is going to go all scientific on, there's that planet there really close to us. That's going to screw with the tides?
Good.
No. We don't have tides in WoW.
But they don't show us the tides, but they're there. All big bodies of water have it.
They reference them.
We have 2 moons. Azeroth has 2 moons. I don't think the tides work the same in Azeroth as they do in Earth.
Yeah, but that just gives them more ability to do whatever they want.
But what I'm saying is, even with their 2 moons, they have a set... If they have tides, like normal water, like we would have, they would have their own set version of it. Adding another planet nearby would screw with that. That's what I was saying.
That's the thing is, we don't really know if the planet's nearby. It could just be a gigantic portal to the planet, which may not really be messing with anything. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't port the planet to Azeroth. He broke a hole in time and space to be able to let us travel back and forth.
Now, okay, so as I have not killed Jaden yet, do you still see the giant portal thing around the planet, or is it just there?
No, it's just there.
For the end of the cutscene, yes. After the cutscene's done and you're in the regular world, no, you don't see it anymore. You just see the planet.
Sounds like it got closer.
Interesting. Well, we'll see what happens with that.
Thank you, Howland.
Actually, yes, they would, but they'd work differently. Instead of having a high and a low tide, you'd have 2 highs and 2 lows.
I don't think it would work. Also, I have another thing, but you guys are probably going to get grossed out. But, no, it's not going to mess with the tides.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there as a that would be a
stepping stone to Queen Ajara.
Hey, my waters are getting screwed up. What the heck are you guys doing up there? Oh, I forgot about you guys.
That just sounded so wrong.
Well, it could lead to Neptunian or whatever deciding to come kick some ass, and Ajara and all the other ones.
We've already got him for the shaman class hall.
Still, he could get pissed off and decide he needs to wreck stuff. They could definitely do that if they wanted to go in a waterway for the next expansion, but I don't really see that as a compelling story, so I hope you're wrong.
I'm not saying I wanted that. I just like what that seems like a good thing. That, if they want to go all scientific on it, that would be something that would screw with things. Yeah. But yeah, whatever.
Argus is not going to smack into a loon. That would just be mad. Horrible.
Well, apparently a loon's been naughty and needs a spanking.
Damn.
I think we're getting delirious. So before we go too much further, I'm going to go ahead and show this contacts thing. So at Epic Fail Podcast, we do love it when you contact us. So here's the ways that you can do that. We are at www.epicfailpodcast.com. On Facebook, you can find us at /podcastepicfail. Twitter is at podcastepicfail. You can follow Draven at Draven Dresden on Twitter. You can follow Scarlet at Scarlet_CTR. And you can follow me, Theory, at Gank Theory, also on Twitter. Don't forget, you can find our podcasts on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. We look forward to hearing from you. All right, so it is time for shout-outs. Scarlet, who would you like to shout out this week?
Our chat room is entertaining, so shout out to our listeners for coming out on a Saturday when I'm grumpy as heck and not feeling good. And everybody came out, and it's an awesome show. So shout out to chat room.
Very good. Draven?
I'm going to give my shout out, oddly enough, to the raid environment team and the developers of WoW at the moment, because I've been putting way more time in that game than is healthy. So I'm going to give a shout out to them outside of, raid teams and chat rooms and stuff like that. Just because the raid so far, at least, has been amazing for me. So I'm giving them my shout out. And then a second shout out to Lore for letting me in his Mythic Pluses and letting me get away with my gnome joke.
Yeah. I don't remember where you posted that. Where did you post that?
Oh, I don't know. I know I have it in one of the Discords.
If you haven't seen that, you should watch it. It was funny. I was gonna mess with my gnomies. So anyway, I would like to give a shout out this week to the people who responded and decided they wanted to come have some fun and do some tier 19 raids. Had people from Vex, had people from Raid 6, had people from Fire Department, had people from the Chickens, and had people from CTM. 5 different raid teams combined to get people to come to that extravaganza, which was 3 hours, and we basically did all of Heroic Emerald Nightmare, all of Heroic TOV, and 8 of 10 of Heroic Nighthold in 3 hours. So that was a lot of fun. I had a blast. So that's pretty much it for me for this week. So what do you think? Are we done?
There was a few things that I was going to mention, but yeah, at this point I don't remember all of them. So,
well, you got time if you want to say something.
Nah, I'm beat. It's been a long day for me, long couple days. So
Okay.
if I remember, I'll put them in the notes for next week.
All right. So then what we need is some last words.
Buttonist.
What have you done?
Okay, bye. Hello, mother.
You know, the world could always use more heroes.